All right, it's about that time. Let's get it on. Turn that music down so I can talk. Thank you, Johnny. And good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's Wednesday, Hump Day on the Morning Night Live, and we're here to have a few laughs and talk about some of the failures of the Republicans, which there are a few that I can talk about, but they're not end of the world failures, but they are in fact failures, including if you know what that is, type it in the chat. All right, let's get this thing started. Too much talking, not enough talk, not enough whatever it is that I do. Anyway, Johnny, turn that off and play the intro.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way, but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only P-Dog Knight.
I really need a new intro and outro. I haven't done that for a while, and I'm way behind on some stuff. Anyway, let's wait. Can you put me on the screen, please? There we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as P-Dog Knight, on the internet, dropping a Run DMC post for you. It is Wednesday, Hump Day, the 7th of February, 2024. And I'm glad you're here because I just have some things I wanted to talk to you about, because I got a bunch, actually, and because that's what I do every morning. I guess my show, the purpose of my show is to get people caught up on some of the things they may not have read yet or seen yet this morning, and see what's happening. Jimmy Dawes, I had a good workout this morning already. All right, see, Jimmy's doing that thing. He's a dedicated man. So anyway, I'm trying to think, did I do anything interesting yesterday? Not really. It was just a day. You know, what I am going to do, though, it was 55 degrees here in Minnesota in February, which is very unusual. Now we're going to get, the temperatures are going to drop down again, and I'm sure we'll get some late March snow or some stuff. But it's one of those years, and it's not the first time this has happened since I've lived here, you know. But of course, this is more proof of global warming for those out there who want to, you know, who live on that particular dime. But I am going to take advantage of it today by taking down the Christmas lights off my house. Now, we haven't turned them on since the last time we turned them on were January 6th, the last day of Christmas. We haven't turned them on. I just, you know, there was snow all over my roof. I didn't want to get up on my roof and try to, you know, wrangle around there and try to get the Christmas lights off. But now they're, it's time. It's time to get those things down, because even though no one sees them because I'm not turning them on, it's still, I see them every day, and I'm like, I got to take these down. So anyway, thank you, Jimmy. I seriously dig those YouTube shorts. Well, thank you. I've been putting them on YouTube and Instagram. I'm starting to do more of them, and I got one that I'm going to drop, or at least a couple I might drop today. Check out the other stuff that I do. Well, there's not a whole lot of other stuff I do on YouTube, but I am starting to put out some YouTube shorts on this channel as opposed to just the joke channel. In fact, I haven't put anything on the joke channel since before Christmas. But so if that's more content that I'm working on, more like little one-liners and just little things that irk me. You know, irk me. Speaking of irk me, Gunfox, thank you for sponsoring the show this morning. Drop the first Hamilton in the tip jar. Gunfox61, you are
the new
Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. Yes, now I still have your total up from yesterday because I didn't reset. So there you go. There's the Gunfox challenge. I'm just going to leave it up there because I don't want to reset it and put it 0 because you are the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day. And, I don't know if anyone's going to compete with you on that anyway. So we're just going to leave it up. And he dropped an article in the Streamlabs chat and says, yes, let the ranting nation hear your rants. So we'll see what that's about. I already looked at the headline and we'll see what it is. Anyway. Let's say good morning and get this thing started. I'm actually closer to being on time today, which is good, but I have so much stuff and even a whole lot of stuff that I didn't even open that I got to get to it. Again, we're going to talk more about immigration today, but there's so much other stuff that we're going to fill it and then we'll finish with immigration stuff because there's just news on every freaking day. So first the chat over on Rumble, Mr. Avocados Diablo gets the bell, of course, because, you got a little extra there this morning. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, Jimmy Das Hotep, and that looks like that's about it. That's it on Rumble. Well, there's more on Rumble. Let's see, 8 watching, 7 watching. So if you're watching on Rumble, just drop a hi in the chat, and then we'll move on. On YouTube, first in the chat is also Avocados Diablo gets the bell. Well, the crowd's excited today. Also, good morning, Mike Savage, Blarg, Ravon Harris, bright and early. Good morning. Lord Stanhope's in the house. Tyre, Alexander, the gentleman Lich is here. Good morning, Zed the Snarky, Anonymity. T2, I'll be back. Nomad's in the house. Also, good morning to Simon Wolfwood, another guy, V. Tribute Liberty, what's up, my brother? Good morning also to my favorite Canadian Jaeger pony, GDSOB's in the house. And that seems to be did I miss anybody? Look, I think people are so used to me being late that they're not dropping in yet. And so they're probably just now getting notifications. And, that's my fault for, well, it's my curse because, the work hours at my morning gig change on the regular, and it's made it less conducive for me starting right at 9 Eastern. But those of you who have made it so far, I am very ecstatic that you are here. Also, thank you. Oh, good morning, Tyler F. I see you there. And then also, I'm asking, as I always do, please share the stream. Let's see if anyone shared the stream. So, oh wait, what the hell? Oh, what happened there? That should be. Did I close a window? Oh my gosh, what the hell was I doing? I must have accidentally closed a couple windows. So, let's see if there's any notifications here, because now I gotta. Oh, I see what I did. I closed the wrong one. See, this is boomer tech for you. Every once in a while, we just do things that I do things that are maybe not appropriate for what I was supposed to be doing. So here we go. We got. Give me a second. Sorry, guys. Okay, there we go. Notifications. For some reason my internet's not working all that well either. All right, thank you to Tyler F, Jimmy Das Hotep, and another guy V for retweeting the show this morning. I really appreciate it. Share the show, and it helps get new people here. And I don't know, my channel is just it's been very frustrating, and to do this on YouTube, because I know that this channel has been limited for a very long time, and I've thought of maybe just starting a whole new channel over and migrating as much as I can over there and see if that makes a difference. Because, you come on here every day. I'm very consistent. I'm here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, for over 5 years now. And the idea that the channel doesn't grow just really is annoying. It just is. But I appreciate those of you who have stuck with me all this time. It's been fantastic. So I appreciate you very much. Anyway, all right, let's get, did I say, I got everyone on YouTube, right? I said hi to everybody. All right, cool. Let's get this thing started. It is hump day, and, it's funny. I think that Twitter has done something smart in that they seem to have stopped the constant hump day body parts thing is what on the trending topic. I think they're doing better with that because I usually I scroll down and try to see how far I could scroll without showing body parts, but here's today's hump day thing. This guy, I don't know what's up with the NFT monkey people. I've never understood it, but it's just they're always there. And then this one, happy hump day, everyone. Glenn Greenwald asking, who were the American journalists who conducted even minimally adversarial interviews with Zelensky? And Elon Musk says, to be fair, it's hard for them to talk while giving a blowjob at the same time. So everyone's bitching about, well, no, not everyone. Well, the American media is bitching about Tucker Carlson going over to interview Vladimir Putin, calling him a Russian traitor and working for the Russians, blah, 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 all this other bullshit. And Putin's, working for Putin's puppet, whatever. And they're mad because they're not sure if Tucker Carlson's going to, give an adversarial interview. And it's like, well, again, who were the American journalists who conduct even minimally adversarial interviews with Zelensky? None. It's another autocrat. I mean, basically a dictator who is, he's canceled the elections and all this other shit. It's so funny when they call. And look, Putin's not better, but is he really worse than Zelensky? Except for the fact that he invaded Ukraine, which is none of our damn business. Although apparently it has something to do with the Joe Biden's pocketbook, and apparently because Hillary Clinton successfully defrauded the American people on a Russian collusion narrative for Donald Trump winning the 2016 election, they all hate Russia now, and I'm in the category of not giving a fuck. So anyway, so that was hump day is obviously trending as it always does every Wednesday. What is this? What's this supposed to be? Oh, and then happy hump day is trending, and for whatever reason you get things like this on happy hump day, some weird graphics, and more of the whatever these people are, the NFT monkey people. Other things trending though, it is AIDS Awareness Day. And I think today is, oh, wait a minute. Wait, what? Wait a minute. I didn't even do this correctly. It's not AIDS Awareness Day. I saw this trending and I'm like, what, as hello Scrappy and GNT. It's not AIDS Awareness Day. It is National Black HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. This year, we're elevating the theme, engage, educate, empower, uniting to end HIV in Black communities. This begins with you. Take a test, know your status, prevent transmission, and get and stay in treatment. That's fascinating. I suppose it's because it coincides with Black History Month. I'm gonna try to avoid the AIDS. I've done pretty well up till now, and we'll continue that. So, but anyway, look, anyone who has HIV should know it and should know how to manage it. I'm just confused about National Black HIV and AIDS Awareness Day. So for all the, I guess, brothers and sisters who need to be aware of HIV and AIDS. Okay, we're gonna move on. Next, trending also, Charles Dickens is trending today. Is the birthday of Charles Dickens, one of England's great white authors. The only reason I did that because right now it's Black History Month and everyone has to talk about the famous black this and the famous black that. So I thought I would mention that Charles Dickens, for the most part, it was white, I guess. But he was born on February 7th, 1812, and he died in June 9th, 1870. He was born 212 years ago today. Someone named Wayne Chen says that it's one of his favorite authors. Once, despite its vivid evocations of cruelty and harshness in Victorian London, a vocal defender of Governor Eyre, who had killed hundreds of innocent Jamaicans at Morant Bay. Oh, so we're going to talk about the bad shit about Charles Dickens on his birthday. Anyway, obviously one of his most famous pieces is A Christmas Carol, Ebenezer Scrooge and all that, but he's a prolific writer, and happy birthday, Charles Dickens. There we go. Also trending, Nevada's trending. Now Nevada's trending because it's the cover story today. So Nevada has both a primary election and Nevada has caucuses. Now the delegates for the state of Nevada are chosen through the Nevada caucuses, but they do have a primary. And there was a primary election in Nevada, and on the Democrat side, Joe Biden won very handily. Okay. And on the Republican side, the winner was none of these candidates. Yes, none of these candidates. Congratulations to none of these candidates for beating Nikki Haley by over 30 points. Now, in the Nevada primary, the one that does not choose delegates, Donald Trump was not on the ballot. He chose to basically forego it because it's basically a useless test. And so the people who were on the ballot were like Nikki Haley, and Tim Scott hadn't taken himself off the ballot yet. And apparently there was Mike Pence was on the ballot. Someone named John Castro got 151 votes. Hirsch Singh, but anyway, the winner of the Nevada primary, again, none of these candidates at 61.2%. Nikki Haley came in second at 32.4%. Oh boy, when you're and this is hilarious. It is absolutely hilarious. Lots of people talking about it. Cat Turd saying congratulations to none of these candidates for beating Nikki Haley by over 30 points. Brandon Dilley, this is the most embarrassing shit I've ever seen in politics. Nikki Haley couldn't beat none of the above in the Nevada primary, but she's convinced her donors and supporters that she can beat Donald Trump. Well, that is very interesting. Lots of people. Nikki Haley was the only candidate on the ballot in the Nevada primary. The only one left. She lost by 30%. So that's hilarious. That is, people literally came out to vote in the Nevada primary to not vote for Nikki Haley. So I just can't get it. And so none of the above is also, or none of these candidates is also trending. Benny Johnson breaking, Nikki Haley loses Nevada primary to none of these candidates. And Donald Trump is not on the ballot because it doesn't count. It will be he will be the winner of the caucus on Thursday. They have their caucuses on Thursday. All right. Did I say good morning to Unacceptable Views yet? Good morning, sir. And also Simon Wolfwood. I think you were here earlier though. Did I miss anybody? We're still good. Okay, so yeah, that's hilarious. That is funny as hell. Now, I said there's going to be other. What I call this? Something about other. Other Republican failures, and let's see. Let's see how Gateway Pundit wrote about this. I mean, people are just dragging Nikki Haley right now. It's funny. It is just funny that she lost to none of the above, none of the candidates. So there's all kinds of stories if you want to go through those links. Let's the next though Republican failure would be Ronna McDaniel. Ronna McDaniel has said that she's going to be stepping down as the chairman of the RNC, Republican National Committee, after the South Carolina primaries. Hello, reaction, Puerto Rico, you lovely island. So let's see. What the hell is it? Here, let's go to Rodham. Well, okay, so things trending because of her stepping down, though, are Romney, because she's a Romney. Good morning, everyone. In one word, Kylie described the outgoing chair of the Republican National Committee, 50-year-old Romney McDaniel. She is stepping down under worthless RNC chair Romney McDaniel. Everyone's emphasizing her middle name of being Romney. The RNC took in $176 million in 2022 and only $87 million in 2023. Trump met with her yesterday at Mar-a-Lago and discussed her fate. Reportedly, she's resigning. Trump said he'll announce recommendations for her replacement the day after the February 24th South Carolina primary. So she's gone. She's may as well be gone. Trump. Now, it's interesting, though, because Emerald Robinson here, Tim Scott is not MAGA and never has been MAGA. His mentor is Glitch McConnell. The GOP establishment will sabotage the second Trump administration with people like Scott. He should never be VP. They're talking about him being Scott being vice president, but someone here says Trump is the swamp. It's obvious. He picked nearly 100% of the swamp to run his cabinet. He sold out to pharma. He endorsed Mitt Romney. He hired Nikki Haley. He oversold the vaccine like a globalist puppet. Oh, damn, Anomaly. Anomaly's going off. So anyway, Ronna Romney, GOP chairwoman, chief of staff Mike Reed is resigning at the end of the month amid massive turmoil and looming bankruptcy of the party under Ronna's failed leadership. The news comes as one day after Ronna McDaniel met with President Trump at Mar-a-Lago. That's Laura Loomer. Looney Loomer. Oh, so that's why Jamie Raskin was trending. I didn't even click on it. I didn't care. So anyway, so Rada's out. Now there's other people trending because of this. Harmeet Dillon is one of the people that people are talking about possibly becoming the RNC chair. Something called IDEA, which is, what is IDEA? Keeping Liberty Alive, one idea at a time. Draw a growing army of IDEA creators. IDEA is officially endorsing Harmeet Dillon for the RNC chair. When it was unpopular to stand against Ronna McDaniel's failed leadership, Harmeet stepped up and met the moment to challenge her. She's a brilliant legal mind as well as an incredible communicator. Her leadership would see the RNC grow to an organization that can actually compete credibly with the DNC and start to win elections again. I like Harmeet Dillon. I don't know if that's interest of hers. I think they need her lawyering skills. That's what they need. But here, who do you want? Simon says, who do you want? Simon says, get that? Simon says, who do you want as your new RNC chair? Harmeet Dillon or Scott Pressler? That's another name that's trending. Now, Scott Pressler will not be the RNC chair. Scott Pressler, the guy goes out and does basically groundwork, voter registration and rallying Republicans, and he's tirelessly going state to state, trying to get people to vote. And, we like Scott Pressler, but he will not be the RNC chairman. I'm just saying. That's kind of silly. P-Dog for RNC chairman. Well, I don't know about that, Tyre. I don't know about that. Was Ronna McDaniel a diversity hire? Was that kind of the Republican version of DEI? I don't know. And would Harmeet Dillon also be that way? Although Harmeet's smart as hell. And I could never really feel that way about Ronna McDaniel. But another name being bandied about is Kevin McCarthy. Now, this is interesting. Even Matt Gaetz. Where did he? Somewhere in here. Here, Matt Gaetz, 12 hours ago, says, I fully endorse Kevin McCarthy for RNC chair. Kevin is well organized and a very high revenue fundraiser. He will also be well liked by the RNC committee. The RNC chair doesn't make any policy decisions, set any agenda, or negotiate against Democrats ever. Kevin would be terrific. And now someone here says sources familiar with the RNC tell me that Kevin McCarthy is a dark horse candidate choice to replace Ronna McDaniel as the RNC chairman due to his fundraising abilities. And that's really what the RNC chairman's there for, basically fundraising. And, now, is this sarcasm? I don't know. And some people think this is sarcasm and a troll. It might be. I don't know. It's the number of that did get the humor in the joke in this post is why we lose elections. Yeah, I'm going, what are you talking about? What is Matt Gaetz talking about? You know, he's the one who brought him out, got him out of the House Speaker. So who knows? Kevin McCarthy. If McCarthy wasn't suitable to lead the House GOP, why would he be suitable to lead the RNC? So again, is this a joke or not? I don't know what Matt Gaetz is doing here. It seems like a joke. Clearly him being a dick. Okay, that's what I was thinking. I was like, are we serious now? Are we serious? No, I kind of like the idea of Harmeet Dillon. But, you know, I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. You know? The only thing we need is to get rid of Joe Biden and a lot of these senators and just let me take a sip of this. All right, let's move on. Oh, Thomas Massey, getting rid of Speaker McCarthy has officially turned into an unmitigated disaster. All work on separate spending bills has ceased. Spending reductions have been traded for spending increases. Warrantless spying has been temporarily extended. Our majority has shrunk. Okay. Let's see here. Oh, so that's another now another Republican failure right now is the attempt to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas. That's another like I said, this is about Republican failures today. That's a failure. And someone here, Thomas Massey, makes a good point. Probably the point that I made the other day. Without control of the Senate or the White House, the only viable way for House Republicans to countermand this administration's harmful policies is to use the power of the purse. Behind the scenes, most of this leverage is being abandoned in exchange for more military funding. Thomas Massey, always with the truth bombs, but they did fail to impeach Mayorkas, which I thought was a folly anyway. Sure, you could send a message, but what good does it do other than that you're not passing any other stupid bills in place of it? So that's the only reason I endorsed that effort, because it stopped them from passing stupid shit that we just don't need. And there you go. But so anyway, House Republicans are trending. That's partially why. Here's Congressman Deborah Ross, where's she from? She's Democrat from North Carolina. I voted against unprecedented baseless impeachment of Secretary Marcus. Now look, I wish there was a way to fire them just from their job that didn't really have to be an impeachment process, because he should get a vote of no confidence in the Senate. The Senate is the body that approved him. But here's a Democrat saying, House Republicans have once again prioritized political stunts over responsive governance. My full statement. No, I understand why they want to get rid of Mayorkas, hard bastard for RNC chairman. That would be amazing too. Wait, here, let me. What's going on with my chatbot? That's weird. Well, here we'll put a link to the sponsor the show at pdognight.live, pinning the link to the chat on YouTube. Okay, so she says House Republicans have once again prioritized political stunts over responsible governance. They have failed to provide any evidence whatsoever that Secretary Marcus has committed a high crime or misdemeanor. Well, he's just a failure. He's failing to do his job. That's the problem. The clear standard outlined in our Constitution and attempted to impeach him based on policy differences and petty grievances alone. Secretary Marcus is a man of integrity and a dedicated public servant. He deserves better, and so do the American people. I voted against this unprecedented baseless impeachment resolution, and I am relieved that it has failed to pass. I will continue to urge my Republican colleagues to put aside these partisan games and work with Democrats to fix our broken immigration system. Holy shit. You know what work with Democrats means? When a Democrat says, we would like the Republicans to work with Democrats, that means they want Republicans to do whatever they say. They want the Republicans to obey. That's all that means. That's silly. Anyway, let's see. Wait, what sue? House Republicans sue FBI agent for bucking censorship investigation. Oh, is that going to be are they going to try to hold him contempt of Congress? I don't know what this is. It's from the Washington Examiner. Let's see. We'll look at it. The House Judiciary Committee filed a lawsuit against longtime FBI agent on Tuesday for refusing to comply with a subpoena, accusing the agent of hindering the committee's investigation into social media censorship practices by declining to appear for the deposition. The complaint filed in the U.S. District Court of Washington, D.C. stated that California-based Assistant Special Agent in charge Elvis Chan defied the subpoena at the direction of the Department of Justice, which disagreed with the committee's rules for depositions and interviews. At heart of the dispute is the demand for Chan and his employer that he be accompanied during his deposition with the committee by both his personal counsel and government counsel. The committee has long maintained that it allows one or the other to appear with witnesses, but not both. The committee alleged in the suit that the DOJ's position has no legal merit, citing the Constitution's clear command that each chamber of Congress may determine the rules of the proceedings. The complaint seeks to force Chan to testify before the committee immediately. Chan, the committee wrote, is a pivotal figure in the investigation into the allegations that the federal government overstepped its authority by coercing social media companies, including Meta, X, and YouTube, to censor content that often suppress right-leaning viewpoints. So basically, what are they going to do? They're going to try to send him into court and maybe put him in jail like they did with, what's the dude's name that is going to jail for 6 months because he refused a subpoena? Anyway, hello, Maddie. So that's interesting. Okay, whatever. Moving on. Al Green, in relation to the failure by Republicans to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas, Al Green, the Democrat lawmaker, is trending just because he was so intent on voting for this, or voting against the impeachment of Alejandro Mayorkas. He actually left the hospital to cast his vote. Now, I don't know who this is linking to. BBC, Al Green leaves hospital to cast vote against Alejandro Mayorkas' impeachment. The Democratic lawmaker from Texas left the hospital briefly to cast a crucial vote against impeachment of the Homeland Security Secretary. The 76-year-old trip from the emergency room where he was having an abdominal surgery was decisive. The House Republicans ultimately failed to impeach Mayorkas with the final tally at 216-214. 4 Republicans voted against the impeachment of Mayorkas too. But anyway, so there was pictures of him. I guess he came there in a wheelchair, and it was very dramatic, and whatever. So a lot of the Democrats are very excited that he did that. There's supposed to be a picture of him doing this somewhere. Here's Manu Raju. He's a leftist. He's one of the chief congressional correspondents at CNN, but he's also might as well be part of the squad. Who says Democrat Al Green surprised Republicans when he showed up for the Mayorkas impeachment vote tonight and ultimately helped Democrats sink the measure. It will pass when Scalise returns, but Dem leaders were ready. It was not a surprise, House Minority Whip Catherine Clark told me. So, and I don't know if that's the actual picture, but that looks like a Photoshop. That doesn't look real. And so, no, it was not this Al Green, though. Not, why do people wake up? No, make up. You're all I need. Wrong Al Green. Not that Al Green. The cool Al Green. All right, what else? So let's see. I got a couple more trending topics, and then we can move on. Matt Gaetz is trending again. I think for trolling Kevin McCarthy, maybe. But also he's been tweeting up a storm. Oh, by the way, here's something else the Republicans are doing. I don't know if this is going to work or not either, because well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. But apparently, Representative Matt Gaetz and fellow Republicans have just introduced a resolution stating that President Donald Trump did not engage in insurrection. The resolution is co-sponsored by more than 60 members of Congress. So here's the 10-second version of this.
We are here today to authoritatively express that President Trump did not commit an insurrection, and we believe Congress has a unique role in making that declaration. We are here today.
Okay, so in fact, here's a longer version of it. Let's leave this one.
But
let's put this on full screen. All right, let's see what they did here. And several of them spoke, but this is important because if there's a congressional resolution, actual resolution that he didn't, that would probably dampen a few of these court cases. But this is not even, I don't even know this is necessary. Nobody has charged Trump with insurrection except for the so-called fact-finding in Colorado and the Secretary of State of Maine, who have no jurisdiction to do that. But here we go. Here's right, exactly. Afghanistan, just what I was thinking, a non-binding resolution. Hello, Andrew Thorston, too.
But we are here today to authoritatively express that President Trump did not commit an insurrection, and we believe Congress has a unique role in making that declaration. It's not the job of the states, and especially not the job of some bureaucrats in Colorado, to make this assessment and interfere with the rights of voters to cast their vote for the candidate of their choice. The very experts who often get on television and talk about securing democracy seem to be the first to want to then remove a candidate from the ballot because they are afraid that he is too popular. We have 63 co-sponsors to the resolution that Ms. Stefanik and I will be filing today.
Again, the only thing that makes me happy about this, I mean, sure, this is true. There was no insurrection. That is a complete and utter joke that anyone would call what happened on January 6, 2021, an insurrection when you're thinking of the definition of that word when that particular amendment was written and when the Insurrection Act was written and all that. This is not an insurrection by any stretch of the imagination. Okay? Now, the riot that delayed a proceeding by a couple hours, yeah, whatever. But I don't mind when like I said, I don't care. If they're wasting time doing this, these means they're not passing any other bullshit bills that are unnecessary that we constantly get from Congress, thinking that their job is to pass something so they can go back to their constituents and say, hey, we passed something and now you should reelect me because we passed something. Hey, I'll tell you what, if I ever get the opportunity to vote for a candidate whose their only campaign promise is to find out how many different stupid laws they can repeal, I'm voting for that candidate forever.
To express the sense of Congress that President Trump did not commit an insurrection, I want to express my gratitude to Senator Vance for filing the companion legislation over in the Senate.
So there's companion legislation in the Senate, so it's on both sides of the, of the legislative branch.
And now is time for members of the House and Senate to show where they stand on this question. We and the former president welcome and expect many more co-sponsors in the coming days and look forward to a floor vote. And now I'd like to recognize my co-lead on this project, our terrific...
Okay, don't care. All right, moving on. So that's another reason Matt Gaetz is trending. So, yeah, okay, yay. All right, next, let's see. Also trending, the Senate is also trending. Now, the Senate's trending because they're still talking about the bipartisan border bill, which apparently they've pretty much given up on. In fact, Chuck Schumer, or is it down here? Chuck Schumer is already about to push aid to Ukraine and Israel without the border deal. That's in Bloomberg Politics. After the House voted not to impeach Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas last night, and after Leader McConnell expressed sadness that Americans don't want his fake border bill, today Senator Chuck, the smarmy prick from New York, Schumer, will be forcing the Senate to vote on another America Last aid package for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan without ties to the U.S. border funding. So I am just... that's maybe should have been the way it was done anyway. Why would American border funding be tied to foreign aid funding. It doesn't make any sense. They're not germane to each other. And they need to figure out, yes, there's things they need to do at the border. They need to force Biden to do some things. But the way they were doing it in this bill was not it. So there you go. And almost all the stuff regarding the Senate has to do with that. So, for example, here's one of my senators who I would love to get rid of, Amy Klobuchar, expressing this on This Is CNN. So let's see what she has to say about this border bill.
I will say that...
Oh, and by the way, here, let's put this on full screen. By the way, they're demagoguing this to death. They're demagoguing it to death, pretending like that this bill was the be all end all of solutions. This is what she's going to try to tell you here. And how oh my gosh, there's this, we're not doing this, or we're not doing this because the Republicans are blocking this bill. So let's see what she says. In fact, look at this, the first line. I will say that we need to do something. Yeah, go yell at your president and tell him to do what he can under his own authority that he has right now, under the current laws. Hey, how about we enforce the current laws? That would be fucking brilliant.
I will say that we need to do something about the border. We need to do something about border security. And to me, it seems like he was looking more for a political attack than a solution. This is a proposal negotiated over months and months with conservative Senator Langford.
Not up for re-election, because Republicans can't before this and be up for re-election. They need time for people to forget that they did this.
Along with Senator Murphy, Senator Sinema.
Both up for re-election, who desperately need to be able to say that they tried to do something about the border to be re-elected.
Senator Schumer and many.
Senator Schumer, the smarmy prick from New York, wants to stay in power as the majority leader, trying to make it look like they did something about the border.
Many other Republicans, by the way, had a say in this.
Many other Republicans, like the Mitt Romney and John Thune and all the, mushy middle guys who also are up for re-election and need to make it look like they're doing something about the border.
And what we have here is something that gives the president emergency authority.
Which he already has. He can already declare emergency at the border and do certain things that are within the law right now. Nothing different than what was in this bill.
To do something about the border.
To do something. Yes, we want to, in an election year where a lot of our vulnerable senators, especially on the Democrat side, are up for re-election, like in Montana and West Virginia and Arizona. So, yes, we need to make it look like we do something about the border when our own president of our party has neglected it for 3 years and turned it into a complete shit show. I'm just translating for you here, folks.
And shut it down if necessary while still...
He can shut it down right now if he really wanted to. All the provisions in this bill are available to us, to the President of the United States at this very moment. In fact, he could do it without... In fact, what's amazing about this, because they thought they were going to have this bill being, debated all this week, and they were going to try to pass it by the end of the week. Did you know that the President of the United States probably would have had the authority to say, hey, we could shut this down until this bill is done? Because that's already part of his power. Anyway.
Preserving asylum. And one word I didn't hear.
Oh, the asylum, the only word that they have to know to get processed, and they all know it somehow, miraculously. They all know the rules of how to be able to stay in the country and get your hearing, right? And then you can disappear up into the hearing, because it's still giving up to 6 months to, get the hearing. So they just, as long as they know the word asylum and make it sound like, oh, yep, I have absolute certain fear of whatever happens that causes me to have asylum, then you still get the 6 months. It's again, it does nothing.
Out of the congressman's mouth was the word fentanyl. There was a major county in my state, and this is...
okay, yeah, fentanyl's coming through all types of ways, and yes, we want the ending of the fentanyl stuff, but this is how they do it, okay? they find the buzzword that makes the most, basically the biggest scare thing, right? And say, oh, if you don't pass this bill, yes, fentanyl. Yeah, you mean the fentanyl that we've been talking about ever since Biden came into office? You mean that fentanyl? The fentanyl that we talk about, you hear about every day? Oh, and suddenly you have a solution for fentanyl? Get the fuck out of here.
Going on all across the country where the sheriff just confiscated enough fentanyl to kill every person in our county. What this bill does, it puts...
Wait, in our county? Did you mean our country? Because I know where they found that. That was not a very big county. Anyway.
Significant resources at the border, new technology and the like, to finally do something about fentanyl.
Nothing stopping them about that. Look, the fentanyl, the detectors, whatever. They were going to buy 100 pieces of equipment. Okay, that was in the bill for 100 pieces of this particular piece of equipment that would help them, find these things faster. Fine. Let's write a separate border bill that's not tied to Ukraine and Israel to do that. That's a great idea. Let's do it. Okay? The other border provisions, though, were stupid. But fentanyl. See, she could scream fentanyl, because the $118 billion that's in this bill, where $60 billion goes to Ukraine, 14 to Israel, another 10 to Taiwan or whatever, Taiwan interest, whatever, and so on and so forth. But because you're not getting these 100 little fentanyl machines, or that you're talking about, and they're not fentanyl machines, you know what I'm talking about, whatever, detecting machines, that's what I'm going to scream about. Just forget all that other money that's like 1/1000th of the bill. But that's the one that, oh my gosh, see, they're voting against detecting fentanyl. Oh, God, I hate fucking politicians.
In addition to stopping this chaos at the border.
Yes.
So it isn't anything everyone wanted. We know that. That's what compromise is about. And
Yes, see, because you want compromise to make it look like you're doing something. Gee, what if the compromise sucks? What if the bill just sucks? Should we vote for it just because, oh my God, compromise? You want to look like you're doing something in an election year to help the Democrat senators and Joe Biden that really doesn't solve the problem. That doesn't make us follow the law. And that's the problem.
I just feel that we have a duty.
I just feel
to the people of this country to put politics aside and not use this as some electioneering slogan.
Pot? Is that you, Pot? Is that you, Pot? Kettle here.
And actually get this done. That's why the Conservative Border Patrol supports this bill.
Oh, do they?
They see it every single day.
Do they? Whoa! Do they now? We're gonna fact check that later in the show. All right.
It's not.
All right. Enough, Amy. If you see Amy, or if you seek Amy, all right. Last trending topic. Bud Light's trending again. And apparently, I don't know why, but Donald Trump is interested in rehabilitating Bud Light. And a lot of people are just saying, fuck no. But Trump wrote this thing on Truth Social. The Bud Light ad was a mistake of epic proportions. And for that very big price, a very big price was paid. But Anheuser-Busch is not a woke company, but I can give you plenty of that are. I am building a list and might just release it for the world to see. Why not? The radical left is not viciously... What? The radical left does it viciously to well-run conservative companies and people. Very nasty. But it's the way they play the game. On the other hand, Anheuser-Busch spends $700 million a year with our great farmers, employs 65,000 Americans, of which 1,500 are veterans, and is a founding corporate partner of Folds of Honor, which provides scholarships for families of fallen servicemen and women. They've raised over $30 million and given 44,000 scholarships. Anheuser-Busch is a great American brand that perhaps deserves a second chance. What do you think? Perhaps instead we should go after these companies that are looking to destroy America. Look, I always thought the Bud Light boycott bordered on silly. And I'm sure they've gotten the message, and I don't really care because I'm not going to drink that shit anyway. But it's interesting. A lot of people are not happy with Trump for writing this. Uncle Bad Touch is in the house.
Come on, man.
How you doing? We know who you are. It's in your name, Uncle Bad Touch.
Come on, man.
Anyway, so people are kind of giving Trump the business. Bud Light is a pretty small and stupid hill, but if conservatives can't stop drinking a garbage beer long enough to pressure a company who obviously hates them, the idea that they can win any kind of power is laughable. Ouch, babe. Ouch, babe. Most of you don't even know who Sammy Davis Jr. is. Bryson Gray, the conservative rapper, says, now, quote, conservatives, end quote, are going to support Bud Light because Trump said so. Don't get mad when people call it a cult. Yeah, there's a little bit of a point there. Steve Deese, Kevin McCarthy for RNC chair, bring back Bud Light, can't impeach Mayorkas. House Democrats hand Democrats a fig leaf to cover their shameful nakedness on the border. What the fresh hell is this? It's not as fresh as not a fresh hell at all. Rather, the same hell we've been in for decades. Yeah, right. I mean, even Gay Patriot, he's a funny dude. I'm not gay enough to drink Bud Light. Jesus, MAGA, what the fuck? So, people aren't happy about Trump and the Trump even mentioning Bud Light. Liz Wheeler, no, not until they apologize for propagating the transgender ideology. The trans ideology is an external threat to our country, existential threat to our company, and our children. How hard is it to apologize? Until then, I boycott Bud Light. The quartering, just another sign Bud Light. Trump surrounds himself with morons who can't read the room. Sorry, the Bud Light boycott will continue until they officially apologize. I don't care how much they donate to your campaign. Whoo, man, people are not happy about it. Let's see. Now, someone says the reason is 2 Republican leaders made a fortune off of Bud Light and told their supporters to end it. Oh, oh, geez. Yeah, this is interesting. So anyway, thank you, Jimmy Das Hotep, sponsors the show over on Rumble. Dropping a deuce in the tip jar. Jimmy Das says, they love the fentanyl problem. They help create it by negatively engaging China, who sends the majority of the fentanyl components to the cartels. They strengthen the cartels with Fast and Furious. Government created. Yeah, isn't that the truth? It's so funny because, interesting in that Trump, the ruling on the immunity ruling. So I was just listening to Robert Guevara, who was talking about it, and he was saying that in this, because I haven't read it, I don't read everything. I try, but I don't read everything. And they said in that ruling, the circuit that the 3-judge panel, the circuit that said that he doesn't have immunity, was saying that the minute you leave office, you lose the presidential immunity. Okay. Now, I find that really interesting because if you lose the immunity, so you can't use it as a defense if you were charged with something later. Okay. So that's what they're saying. If you have immunity up until January 1st or January 6th or January 20th, whatever, inauguration day of the new president, until the day you were no longer president, that day when a new president is sworn in, you no longer have your presidential immunity for things that you did while you were in office? Really? Now that's interesting because Jimmy brought up Fast and Furious. And wouldn't So let's say the families of the deceased border agents that were killed by the guns that Eric Holder and Barack Obama funneled to the cartels to try to, do some, gun legislation, and ended up killing a couple border agents. Could those agents' families now sue Eric Holder and Barack Obama for wrongful death of those agents? Now that you say the day after you get out of the presidency, you no longer have that immunity for things that you do that were under your purview as a president, right? So could now, that ruling, if that ruling stands, boy, I'll tell you what, every president of the United States is probably going to get either charged with something or sued for something the day they leave office. Could Joe Biden be sued for all the people who are killed by illegal aliens in the country the day he leaves office? Of course, he might be leaving office sooner than. Never mind. For other reasons, no threats. I'm just saying he's an old man. So it's an interesting ruling, and that's a great question. Obama murder trial for the guy he droned. He ordered the droning of an American citizen. Could he be prosecuted for that now? Now that he's out of office? Interesting. So anyway, that's that. All right, let's get to some articles, and then we'll get the hell out of here. First, we'll have the ones that Gunfox sent me. Gunfox sent me this one yesterday, and this is from the Readout blog, the Joy Reid blog. This is going to be great. Apparently, the New Hampshire Attorney General places blame for deep fake Biden robocalls. This is a tech drop. And this is someone named Jahan Jones, who does a lot of the Readout blog posts. Let's see here. My friends, happy Tuesday here. It's your Tech Drop, a weekly list of the hottest stories at the intersection of politics and technology. The New Hampshire Attorney General has linked two Texas-based companies to dubious robocalls in which a voice sounding like President Joe Biden, so obviously sounding confused and mumbled, discouraged Democrats from participating in New Hampshire's presidential primary. Attorney General John Formella said Tuesday that a criminal investigation is underway and that the calls possibly represent the first known attempt to use artificial intelligence to interfere with U.S. elections. Oh, yeah, that could become a problem. Now, the Biden administration has announced the Biden administration has announced a new policy that will allow the State Department to ban people from entering the U.S. if they've been found to use commercial spyware to crack down on dissent. What? The Biden administration has announced a new policy that will allow the State Department to ban people from entering the U.S. if they've been found to use commercial spyware to crack down on dissent. The policy says a visa can be restricted if someone has used such tools to surveil or harass journalists, activists, dissidents, and members of marginalized communities, among others. Oh, just those. Okay, interesting. Gunfox, what am I supposed to be reading in this? I'm confused. Hello, Jason Who. Are you here, Gunfox? You were here. I don't know if you're still here. And then check out this thread from Walter M. Kimbrough, the former president of Dillard University, on the use of AI-generated misinformation to try to persuade black people to vote for Trump. Uh-oh. What is this? AI ain't the be-all. Short thread. I saw this post like many of folks telling us what Trump did for HBCUs. I'd like to ask folks to share their source, and she did. Why black Americans should vote for Trump. Most funding ever given to HBCUs, most black home ownership ever, highest black wages ever, lowest black unemployment ever, lowest black poverty rate ever, most black women own businesses ever, First Step Act. Look, I don't like the idea that I don't think black people should vote for Trump because he's going to do something for you. The president is there to do what's best for the country, and generally, if the country flourishes, then so does everybody in the country, because all boats. It's kind of the all boats rise with the tide, And if the tide's rising, then we all rise, okay? Were there specific things that Donald Trump did for black people? For example, the HBCU funding thing, where rather than make them do it every year, come back and ask for money, he did make that a 10-year promise to the HBCUs. And the First Step Act clearly benefited more black people than any other race, because more black people are incarcerated as a percentage of population than any other race. Okay. The other things, the high wages, even black home ownership, that's just, again, rising tide thing. Highest black wages ever, rising tide. Lowest black unemployment, rising tide. Lowest black poverty rate ever, rising tide. Those are all things that if you improve the country and everything for everyone. And so that's great, but that's not specifically something for black people. And I don't want anything specifically for black people. I just want to be able to, I want them all to go away. Hello, Share You Gospel and Jason Who, by the way. I just want them to get out the fuck out of my life. Okay. And that would be very beneficial to me. So anyway, but someone says this wouldn't be the first time that an AI has been used to portray Trump or his movement as friendly to black voters, and won't be the last. Well, I'm sorry. Let's see. Let's look at this thread. Let's look at this thread. How long is the thread? First of all, oh, I see. He went. Looks like he went deep here. Oh, I see. So here it is. He says, she introduced me to this AI tool. Cool. So I clicked the link to see. Here's an answer I got using Microsoft Copilot, the world's first AI-powered answer engine. Select to see the full answer and try it for yourself. Here's part of the answer. The first sentence is false. HBCUs had 10-year funding for Title III under Obama as part of the SAFRA bill, but I continued to read, and the end of the answer gave 4 sources: Trump propaganda, Bloomberg, conservative website, and MAGA headquarters, Fox. Oh, see, Fox is far from MAGA headquarters. Sorry, not true. Anyway, no HBCU orgs like UNCF, TMCF, blah, blah, blah. No black press, no HBCU scholarship. Well, ask the HBCU presidents, dipshit, because it is a fact. And the end of the answer, it gave 4. Okay, AI has blind spots. This was very interesting, and here's proof. AI was wrong. We also want to keep strengthening HBCUs, which is why we're investing $850 million in these institutions over the next 10 years. President Obama, 9/13/2010. And yet they still had to come back to Trump why did all the HBCUs presidents go visit Trump to do this? And if he extended it out another 10 years, that's, instead of 4 years, it would have been out 10 years, right? I'm not understanding why he says this is wrong. So anyway, I'm not even going to leave that thread out there. Is there anything else I was supposed to read in this, though? I'm not sure. This is all like just a bunch of tech stuff. Let's get into the article for today, though, that Gunfox sent me, because I'm sure this will be much more brain exploding type of stuff. All right, here we go. This is the Mad Owl blog. The Mad Owl blog. Why Jim Jordan's call for a timeout on Capitol Hill matters. Jim Jordan wants Congress to stop all work on matters related to immigration and border policy for the next 11 months. What happened to GOP urgency? Now, okay, let me just give it a little extra doubt first, because I'm not sure if that's what Jordan's calling for. But let's see how Steve Bannon or Benin or whatever, however he pronounces it, says this. The day after the bipartisan compromise, also known as bullshit bill, on border policy and security was unveiled, one Republican after another lined up to announce their opposition. A few hours ago, they were joined by Senator John Barrasso, the number 3 Republican in the chamber and the highest-ranking GOP leader, to reject the legislative deal. Quote, Americans will turn to the upcoming election to end the border crisis, end quote, the Wyoming senator said in a written statement. House Judiciary Committee Jim Jordan made a similar comment during an appearance on Fox Business. Let's say timeout, and then let the American people decide how we want to deal with this in November, when we have President Trump against President Biden. Let the country decide. In other words, as far as the Ohio Republican is concerned, Congress should not just reject the bipartisan compromise. Jordan believes that lawmakers should take a time out for the remainder of the legislative session, ceasing all work on matters related to immigration and border policy. It's a perspective rooted in the idea that voters will decide the future of the policy. If Americans want the conservative approach embraced by President Joe Biden. Well, wait, no. That's not the conservative approach. See what he does here? He's saying that the compromise bill is the conservative approach. No, the conservative approach is how about just kick everybody out who we know doesn't qualify for asylum? Like, again, it's the water theory as far as I'm concerned. If you had to cross water, you're not eligible for asylum. But he says if Americans want the conservative approach embraced by President Joe Biden, they can reelect him. If the electorate wants an even more far-right policy, people can back the likely GOP nominee. I imagine some might find this solution reasonable. It is not. Oh, well, let's find out why it's not. What the hell's that? What's going on over there? Okay. First, even if Americans reelect the Democratic incumbent, the recent history suggests folks like Jordan won't accept the legitimacy of the outcome. Well, if it's fair, if it's obviously a fair election, they will. Then why not? Oh, I see. You're saying that they'll never. Okay, I got you. They'll never accept an election where Joe Biden wins. It's one thing to say let the country decide. It's something else to honor the results after the country has already decided. Shots fired. Second, Republicans need to make up their minds about the urgency of the matter on hand. They can say conditions at the border are an ongoing crisis in need of immediate attention, or they can say the country can afford to take an 11th-month timeout during which time the problem will fester. But to make both assertions simultaneously is ridiculous. Well, no. There's a third alternative there that you're not mentioning that should be the first option. Joe Biden can follow the law and make adjustments as his office is able to right now without a new law. How about that? Catch me outside. How about that? Finally, while let the American people decide might have some superficial appeal, let's not forget the inconvenient fact that the American people already decided. Oh, did they now? Is this what they voted for? The voters made these choices in free and fair elections with the expectation that those who govern in their name would actually try to act in the nation's interest. And yet, you have Democrat mayors all over the country screaming at you, wondering why this is getting so out of hand. So apparently this is not what they voted for. They're seeing 3 years of this bullshit, and suddenly in an election year, oh my gosh, we're going to do something. We're going to pass a bipartisan bill that really just looks like we're doing something, but is actually a load of crap. No one voted with the assumption that lawmakers would effectively take an election year off. Well, this supposedly is under the purview of the president to enforce the laws that are currently on the books. If you're not enforcing the laws that are currently on the books, you're a failure. Okay, this is not a Republican failure. This is a Joe Biden failure. But he continues to hear Jordan tell it. The responsible course of action is for elected lawmakers to simply stop working roughly halfway through the current Congress on an issue that he and his party believe is critically important. The far-right Judiciary Committee chair might even get his way on this as GOP lawmakers scramble to kill a bipartisan solution, but that won't make it right. Well, the bipartisan solution sucks. And how about we just start enforcing the laws that are on the books now? All right, so enough of that. Thank you, Gun Fox, wherever you are. I hope you're doing well, sir. All right, and I'm going to stick on this theme of immigration, but I have a few articles open. Again, everything we do today, everything we do every day, we put in links on a one-tab link, meaning you can click one link and they'll be listed on one page. All the tweets and video and whatever articles will all be in there, and I'll drop that in the chat at the end of the show, and I will drop it into the description on both YouTube and Rumble. Oh, also, by the way, there's another way to sponsor the show. There's a little, on YouTube at least, there's a little clicky button thing where you can go buy shit. Like right now I just have t-shirts in there, a couple different t-shirts. I'm eventually going to be putting a Shopify link in there too, though, of just useful things that you might want to do. So click the shop button every once in a while and see what's there. Right now it's just a couple shirts that I haven't sold a whole lot of, so that's cool. All right, let's move on though. Again, just a reminder that the House did fail to impeach Alejandro Mayorkas. The House representative let Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas off the hook for the border crisis created under his watch in a historic 216-214 vote against impeachment. Representatives Ken Buck of Colorado and Tom McClintock announced before the vote they would vote against impeachment. They were joined by Representative Mike Gallagher of Wisconsin, and in voting with unified Democrats. Now, there was who was missing? Steve Scalise, I think, was missing from the vote, and some of them. Representative Blake Moore voted nay, but only for procedural reasons, so that the House may vote on the same measure again at some point. Gallagher expressed concerns with impeachment Tuesday morning in a closed-door Republican conference meeting. Buck, who announced last year that this would be his final term and has openly expressed a desire to work maybe for MSNBC or CNN, and McClintock, who last year told Breitbart News Daily he believes the impeachment is unconstitutional, were seen as immovable. Again, I'm struggling with this idea. And yes, dereliction of duty, is that a high crime and misdemeanor? There's two different things, and I'm torn on this. I don't know that I would vote for this, even though I would like him gone. I think he's a horse shit at his job. But again, Democrats are kind of right here with it's a policy difference, and so he hasn't committed a high crime or misdemeanor, and that's the only way you can impeach somebody, at least right now under the Constitution. So despite the arm twisting in the House floor by multiple members and Republican leadership and senior members, Gallagher also cast his vote or ballot with Democrats. And then Moore, who remarkably serves as a member of the House leadership, cast his vote against impeachment on the last second, minutes after he pulled a John McCain. Let's put it that way. Minutes after the previous final vote and moments before the gavel crashed down. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene of Georgia, who led calls to impeach Mayorkas for over a year, insisted that Mayorkas' refusal to follow laws and alleged lying to Congress was a clear ground for impeachment. Now, that could be the one actual grounds, but I don't even know if lying to Congress, which they may have some clear indications that he did, because sometimes his answers contradict each other. Could that be considered high crime misdemeanor? Well, yeah, I don't know. I don't think that's how it's supposed to be, but maybe that's what they're thinking, could get him gone. So very interesting stuff. That's another failure of the House. Now, this is interesting. Now, isn't it interesting, though? We saw the thing where Chuck Schumer was saying, well, the Border Patrol Union supports the Senate border bill. Well, here's an article that says maybe the rank and file Border Patrol agents think the deal is bullshit. In fact, the quote is, "Go fuck themselves, rank and file Border Patrol agents slam Senate funding deal." There you go. Several rank and file now again, this is anecdotal evidence. Several rank and file Border Patrol agents criticized the Senate funding bill released late Sunday, telling the Daily Caller that the legislation would allow illegal immigration crisis to continue. Again, this is the name of the bill. The Emergency National Security Supplemental Appropriations Act 2024, the Emergency National Security Supplemental Appropriations Act, allocates funding toward adding more personnel to the Department of Homeland Security, detention beds to immigration and customs enforcement facilities, expelling certain illegal migrants and enhancing fentanyl interdiction. 4 rank-and-file Border Patrol agents told the Daily Caller that the catch and release of illegal immigrants will continue if the bill is implemented because it allows for the release of family units and single adults that show credible fear. Again, credible fear. That's their metric. Of persecution should they return home. Well, what about the ones from India? Could we just go ahead and send them back right now? Because or Pakistan. They have credible fear of persecution when they return home? How about all the Chinese nationals of fighting age? Are they fearing persecution or should they return home? Or have they been sent here by China? I'm just curious. So, now that I've seen more of it, this is what the agent said, now that I've seen more of it, they can respectfully go fuck themselves. The more I'm seeing it, the more it just puts what they've been doing in writing. You want to shut this down? It's real easy. Team up with the DHS and let us enforce like we're supposed to, one agent told the Daily Caller. I feel like we are the only nation in the world that is dumb about the border. Maybe it's because we haven't. I don't know that. Or that is this dumb about the border. The Border Patrol Union, however, has endorsed a portion of the deal, providing funding for border security, saying it's not perfect, but far better than the status quo. The bill would mandate, okay, anyway, we know what the bill's about. But so, again, the union has endorsed part of the bill, and that's what they keep saying. And PJ Media, now this is getting interesting. Apparently, Biden is looking at sending troops to stop Texas from protecting the southern border. Is this going to be I was going to say a Mexican standoff, but that's ironic. Joe Biden called out the cavalry to ride to the rescue of illegal aliens breaking into the country. You read that right. Joe Biden is listening to his far-left base and has nationalized a National Guard contingent to support the federal government's U.S.-Mexico border control efforts, which is to say Biden opening up at the southern border to the illegal invasion. The left has been urging the president to federalize National Guard troops to reopen Texas's border, where illegal immigrants have been overrunning the state. It appears Biden has begun the process of doing that by ordering the Alaska National Guard to get ready to deploy to the border in support of the federal government, not the security of the border. Now, this is uncanny. What would it be instead of nationalize them to force it so people can come through? What if he nationalized them to stop people from coming over? Wouldn't that even make more sense? What are you doing? Texas has been securing the border with layers of concertina wire on top of stacks of shipping containers. A wall, in other words. Texas Governor Greg Abbott calls the program Operation Lone Star. The U.S. Supreme Court ruled January that the federal government could take down Abbott's razor wire while Texas' rights to preserve an invasion are appealed. The announcement of the National Guard deployment is a brushback pitch by the Biden administration to Texas and a signal to his leftist base that he heard them. Now, the Anchorage Daily News reports that the deployment of the troops is scheduled for 2025 after the election. So, isn't that fantastic? It's scheduled for after the election. So basically, it's a fate. What do you call it? He's pretending that he's doing something on this case too, just to make his leftist base a little more happy. But they're not doing it till 2025. Well, that's bold. Fate. Thank you. I couldn't say it. So that's interesting. What is this? Oh, this is that. Here's what it was. There's an article in. Is it? Chuck Schumer saying, I've never worked more closely with Mitch McConnell, basically on this border security bill. I have never worked more closely with leader Mitch McConnell on any piece of legislation as we did on this. That said Senate Majority Leader, the smarmy prick from New York, Chuck Schumer, about the miserable, worse than even expected legislation the Senate is attempting to force down the throat of the House of Representatives and by extension the American people. And they will force the bill down the House's throat, or at least attempt to, because the Republican leadership in the Senate almost certainly has 9 of its 49 members willing to vote on this catastrophic betrayal of our national security and rule of law. As soon as the 9th Republican senator caves to McConnell's pressure and the bill is passed with a filibuster-proof majority on Wednesday, it will become the House's problem. Now, that's just the other part, too. They're going to get a filibuster-proof majority to vote on this piece of garbage? That's amazing. And they're going to do it by Wednesday. That's today. They think they're going to have that done by today. Now, is that going to happen? I doubt it. Because now Mitch McConnell's kind of going, well, I've heard that this is not looking good, blah, blah, blah. Well, I don't think we're going to get it done. So I don't know why the American people don't want to get it done, but that's how it's going to go. So there we go, Mitch McConnell. Mitch. They call me the turtle sometimes. So anyway, I love that. Oh, look. If Chuck Schumer and Mitch McConnell are working on something together, prepare to get bent over. Anyway, in Breitbart, Biden is blaming Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans for the broken border system. Say what? What is this? How long is this?
The system has been broken.
President Joe Biden blamed former President Donald Trump and MAGA Republicans for the broken border system and his administration's expected failure to convince Congress to pass a $118 billion bill that would allot $20 billion for border security, but $60 billion for Ukraine. Now, all indications are that this bill won't even move forward in the Senate floor. Why? A simple reason. Donald Trump. Biden said during a public address on Wednesday. He claimed that Trump thinks the bill is bad for him politically, and therefore it is being opposed by Republicans in the House and Senate. No, the bill is bad for America. He also put the blame on Trump for the record levels of illegal immigrants streaming through the border, not his own policies, and lack of enforcement of the law. See, when Donald Trump's in office and only 400,000 or to 500,000 average a month or a year, are coming across the border, a year, that's not to Donald Trump's credit. But when you come in office and it quadruples the first year and continues to grow to record numbers every year that you've been in office, that's Donald Trump's fault. How do you figure? Wait, what? You first day you said some things and whatever, and during the campaign you said, yes, we're gonna strengthen the asylum process so we can process more asylum claims, and suddenly everyone coming across the border is claiming asylum, and you're saying that's Donald Trump's fault? You're a moron. Every day between now and November, the American people are going to know that the only reason the border is not secure is Donald Trump and his MAGA Republican friends. Joe, you have some tools in the toolbox. Now, apparently, nobody recognizes the tools because none of you ever have worked with your hands, but there are some tools. Hello, number one. It's time for Republicans to show courage, to show spine, and to make clear to the American people that you work for them, not for anyone else. I know who I work for. I work for the American people, he claims. And Senate Majority Leader Chuck, the smarmy prick from New York, Schumer, plans to bring the Senate border bill to the floor on Wednesday, but Republicans are poised to block it. The bill would give the administration the ability to expel illegal immigrants, but only if an average threshold of border crossers is reached. So, which would be 35,000 a week. 35,000 a week. The bill allows for. And that's it. And again, don't even look at the 5,000 number. It's the average over any 7-day period. You don't think the cartels and these traffickers know how to count? They got to make their money. All right, let me finish up with a few more here to get out of here. New York Post, we know RNC chairwoman Ronna McDaniel has told Trump she's resigning. We already knew that. That's the New York Post article there. Donald Trump has scored an endorsement from the International Union of Police Associations. Now, this is interesting. Look, I don't care about the police anymore. I mean, I love good cops and I hate bad cops. I don't think of police officers as a category that I can support wholeheartedly, nor can I discount them wholeheartedly. They're just like any other profession. I don't praise every plumber there is, because there's some good plumbers and some bad plumbers. But it's interesting that this is the International Union of Police Associations. This is not a single union, apparently. The International Union of Police Associations endorsed former President Donald Trump in his White House bid on Tuesday, as polling shows crime is a top issue in the American electorate. In a press release, IUPA President Sam Cabral announced that the organization's executive board of directors unanimously endorsed Trump. The president's history in support of the men and women in law enforcement is unmatched. His policies and actions were directed at improving safety in our communities and the men and women who provide that shield, the release stated, adding that the 45th president earns and deserves the IUPA's wholehearted support. And so there you go. Again, interesting. Excuse me. All right, couple more and then we're gone. Breitbart. This is again on Nikki Haley's. Well, she got the most vote of an actual candidate, but she lost to none of the above by 30 points. Joe Biden coasts to victory. Nikki Haley upended by none of these candidates in a thinly contested Nevada primary. It's a throwaway primary because it doesn't determine delegates. Why is that like that? Maybe let's see if I can get it to fit. Nope, can't fit that way. Left, maybe. I gotta adjust these camera angles. Anyway, Haley was the only major GOP candidate who was signed up for the Nevada primary, which has no delegates at stake over the state's GOP-run caucus, which will be held Thursday and has 26 delegates up for grabs. Facing virtually no competition, Haley only amassed 33.2% of the vote in a contest marked by low turnout. So there wasn't a whole lot of people even turned out, but they certainly did not turn out to vote for Nikki Haley. Surprised that they didn't have some Democrat crossovers. PJ Media, apparently Democrats are not preparing to throw Kamala Harris under any buses just yet. The discussion about whether Joe Biden will or will not be the Democrat who is on the ticket come November is a popular one among conservatives from all walks of life. It's been a particular fave with colleagues in the conservative sphere. But the most popular version of the speculative scenario goes something like this. Joe Biden has some sort of mystery malady and steps aside. That sounds familiar because he's said stuff like that. Kamala Harris magically disappears from the scene and Gavin Newsom floats in on a cloud to become the nominee. Now, it's only a little bit of an exaggeration. In reality, the steps it takes to get Newsom as the nominee are many and not likely to happen. It's not that you wouldn't think that it can't happen. It's just that this writer believes they won't do it for a variety of reasons. He's written about this a lot, but he says, I'll recap a couple of reasons here, especially one that is the biggest obstacle. The first is obvious, that Dr. Mama Joe Biden has zero interest in her husband stepping aside. I've heard from countless people that the Democratic National Committee will eventually manufacture a health crisis to force Biden to get out of the race. My response to that has always been the same. Good luck. First Lady good luck getting First Lady Mrs. Dr. Biden to sign off on that. But what to do about Kamala Harris is the larger concern in this scenario. The Newsom fetishists on the right tend to gloss over this problem, offering a few fantastical ideas about how she will be quietly gotten off the board. My favorite is that she'll be offered the next Supreme Court nomination, whatever that may be. In their minds, the woman already holds the second highest office in the land, is going to give that up for kind of, sort of, maybe future gig. Not happening. Not happening. So anyway, this is more on why that's an unlikely scenario. You can read that one yourself. And then I'm going to finish up with this Daily Mail article that I just saw. And this is a palate cleanser or some barf on your sweater, depending how you want to read it. Apparently, there was a college volleyball game in Canada in which five transgender students dominated the court at a college varsity volleyball game as the biological females were kicked down the bench. This is the shocking moment. 5 transgender players hijack a women's volleyball game in Canada. Footage showed 5 athletes dominate a women's volleyball match between Seneca College and Centennial College in Toronto on January 24th. The biologically male athletes were seen smashing the ball past their female teammates. The controversial players each stayed on the court for the entire game, while the biologically female players were substituted on and off the bench. The game sparked outrage among conservatives. Did it? I didn't even hear about it until just now. Who raised health fears for the women athletes and were furious to see them being benched. The series comes amid a spike, no pun intended, in trans athletes dominating women's sports events across the U.S. and Canada despite mass public backlash. So, Seneca played 3 transgender women during the game, while Centennial played 2 trans players. The report from Rebel News said that the trans players dominated the game, especially when it came to serving and spiking. A report from Rebel News said the trans player... it already says that! Real biological women have needed medical assistance thanks to taking spikes off their head, Dave Menzies, who was there to observe the game, said. The biological males were always on the court, meaning there were at least 5 female players benched at any given moment of the game. Seneca College, a school with more trans players, won the best-of-5 series. Menzies, no pun intended, was ushered away when he tried to interview the players and the coaches about the spots transgender players take up on the women's teams. Menzies, no pun intended, said they are using the sport to pay for their tuition. It was unclear whether he was speaking specifically about the players on the court or in general. An anonymous source told the reporter that there had been 2 major head injuries to female volleyball athletes in the Ontario Colleges Athletic Association caused by transgender people. The first reported injury was a concussion last November caused by C.L. Valoria, who plays for Centennial. Valoria attacked the ball with heavy force and hit a Lasite volleyball player in the head. The second injury occurred on January 22nd, 2024, when Franz Lagardis, a trans player who plays for Seneca, hit a Lasite player. Is it the same teams? Yeah, it is. In the head, causing a concussion. So, hey, look, if you're able to jump high and you call yourself a female, I'm all for it. You know, it can add some excitement to game. Look, I played club volleyball in college. We had a really good club team, and I played on a intramural volleyball, and I love volleyball. And one of my favorite things, we'd call it a pancake, even though it's not really probably the term for it. We call it pancaking somebody when you spike the ball like into their face or chest and you knock them over. And that was my favorite thing to do. I would aim for people's heads. And so it would discourage them trying to block my spikes. But anyway, hip, hip, hooray. Look, that's just being inclusive by allowing the trans players to play in women's sports. And you should have no say in it, you bigots. Anyway, all right. And we're going to finish on that note. Thank you all for joining me today on the Morning Night Live. I hope you had a wonderful time. Thank you for everyone joining the chat. 39 people 39 people here and 34 likes. That's pretty damn good, guys. Thank you. I appreciate it. Look, I'm here Monday through Friday, 10 o'clock Eastern, right around that time. Come and join me and bring some friends next time. But we're all friends here in the chat, so I hope you had fun. Wait a minute. I discovered the word knacker, Knacker, on X. Get your post hidden with no reply or like or repost allowed. Well, I did not know that. So a headhunter, yeah. Well, yeah, I was kind of a headhunter. I mean, either that. One of my favorite. I played mostly left outside hitter when I played on my team. And my favorite thing was to avoid a block, because people would always try to block me straight up. So my favorite thing was to try to hit the ball down inside the 10-foot line on the other side of the court. Like so, and a lot of people had trouble stopping me from doing that, because I like to play angles really bad. But that's a whole nother thing. If you know about volleyball, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, I got to go. Hey, thank you. Please sponsor the show by hitting the like button, share the stream. P-Dog Night Live, 24 hours a day. You can be the Streamlabs Superstar sponsor of the day, like Mr. Gunfox61. And also thanks Jimmy Das for sponsoring the show. I got to go. See ya. My name's P-Dog Night. Links will be in the chat and the description. I'm out of here. Bye-bye. Have a great day. Hey, this is P-Dog Night, and thank you for watching today on the P-Dog Night channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comment section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterwards so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 o'clock Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all the supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through Streamlabs, YouTube, Venmo, and Cash App, which are all linked in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm P-Dog Night, and I'm out of here.